What are we talking about? First or second thing?
Lil Reese out the hospital.
Out the hospital. Who shot him? Call him out. If you know, drop it in the
Are
comments.
you paying $1 million?
No.
I don't think
Absolutely nobody would pay him $1 million for an interview, obviously.
for an interview, yeah. But that was honestly that was kind of disrespectful the way Vlad just said that. Like he was like,
no one would.
he was
pay
like, I'm
that
glad you're
amount.
okay, but nobody is paying you.
Well, that is a fact.
But
He said he wanted $1 million for the interview. Vlad said that nobody's going to give you 1% of that. It's obvious. It's true.
what's 1% of a million?
I was just gonna say.
10,000.
Damn.
You want to give him $10,000?
No. What the fuck am I going to do that for? The video, let's say
The video's out.
Best case scenario, we do an interview with him, he gets 1 million views. This is going to make like a couple $1,000s off of YouTube. Maybe we get a brand deal.
How?
We could theoretically get a brand deal. Put it in the. You say how? Like,
And
how
tell
does,
them,
how does someone get a
this is
brand deal?
No, I mean,
legendary. This doesn't get so many
about the
views.
story about a nigga getting shot. That's why I didn't.
Why not?
I don't know.
You could hit
I'm not
up
a brand deal nigga. That's what I'm
fucking-
asking.
We just put a
What the
brand
fuck?
deal on the Vitali interview. I mean, you watch TV that has commercials in it every day, and it's
Okay.
Put
about
a Blue
things,
Chew
right?
one on it.
You could. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't say like an ad. You said I didn't fucking
A
know.
brand deal.
Be like,
A deal with a brand.
Hey, Lil
You
Reese,
are a
I'm
YouTube
glad
nigga.
you're-
You
I'm
know this.
glad
I don't
you're
know
okay.
that.
I'm sorry.
Anyways,
Everyone
guys,
doesn't
sorry
have the
to
vast
interrupt.
I'm here to educate you, but
Okay,
that's what
thank
I'm
you.
saying is that maybe you get a brand deal on the 1 million view video, and then you can make a profit off of paying him $10,000. But again, that is 1% of what he said.
That's
You should
facts.
try to level with him. Ask him, how much did you pay?
I did. I told him I would give him a fucking ounce of some mid, and I would give him some fake lean.
Y'all niggas are disrespectful.
Wait, how much did he? How much did you pay?
I did tell him that, by the way. I can
fucking-
screenshot that.
Dame Dash.
$500 for the haircut. And
Tell him you pay him 1,000. You pay. Be like, I'm
$500
paying
for
you
the
I'm
haircut
paying you
for a bald
double.
nigga.
Okay, but once we get down to 1,000, we're talking about
Like 0.001.
10% of 1% of what he asked for. So I mean, once you get down to 1,000, it's kind of like, you know, because I could like, if he really asked me for 1,000, like, all right, like if you're gonna really give me a huge interview that's getting a shitload of views, and you think that you really want to press me for $1,000, fine.
What do you think is the best way for him to do it? Should he make his own YouTube?
He got to
and,
do
and
like just a
interview
whole
himself?
documentary.
Or
Whole
a documentary?
The
Whole
thing
documentary.
with him, and this is the problem, and this is why really nobody's going to pay him for an interview, is he ain't going to say shit because he's in the streets. He probably has a rough idea of who tried to shoot him.
Yeah.
I guarantee the cops have
Not
asked
tried
him
to
about
shoot him. Who shot him?
Right, who shot him. He probably knows. So, I mean, you know, he was there. So it's like, unless this is all like a big mystery and this just happened somehow, he knows who shot at him, but he's probably not telling the cops. And
Yeah.
if he were to go do an interview,
Yeah.
and if he were to give any
type of-
detail
Right.
about what happened, he's commenting on an open case. And so he's not going to do that. So if I get him in and do an interview, it's like, what's going to happen is I'm going to ask him about that shit, and he's not going to say shit. It's still going to be kind of interesting because he's going to
Yeah.
say little things, but it's basically going to be a waste. And then we'll talk to him about other stuff. And
Who do you think would ask better questions to get more out of him, you or Vlad?
maybe Vlad, because Vlad definitely doesn't care about just being homies with him after.
Yeah,
and
he
like
does not give a
me and
fuck.
Lil Reese like kind of text and stuff, and like our sort of.
Me and
He
Lil
like-
Reese,
he texted me
kinda
his
text
I don't want to be
Sometimes.
out here acting like we're best friends or anything, but I think I'd probably care
Wasn't he
more about
supposed
being the
to
homie
pull
in
up on us?
Chicago.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember we waited all fucking day.
Yes,
I want to.
Duck,
He came?
Duck and Reese were both supposed to do the interviews.
Oh, no.
And both of them ghosted on me and didn't end up happening. But then they
Because-
both have like independently hit me up afterwards. But that was before he got shot. And
Because like, why would I go interview? Why would I go do an interview in Chicago with Adam when there's possibly ops that are gonna know that I'm gonna be there, or that you're gonna put it on live, or you're gonna fucking tweet?
I told him that. I told him like,
I
I'm
think
not
we
gonna
talked
tell
about it before.
anybody about where it is, wherever. He kind of like laughed at the idea of him even giving a fuck.
Oh,
and,
really?
And not to mention that we had off-duty cops as security with us during that trip. So it's like, and when I was actually talking to the off-duty cop about it, because okay, Duck and Reese are not supposed to be around each other, right?
That's what I'm saying,
But
yeah.
but when I was talking about it to the cop, I was explaining to the security, and he's like, you know, I ain't gonna do anything, right? And I'm like, why you say that? He's like, because these motherfuckers lived in the same city for the past 10 years, and
Yeah,
they've been
that's fair.
beefing forever, and they fucking know where each other live and shit, and they ain't nobody, you know, people get shot, but it ain't like they were shooting at each other, these rappers and shit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I was impressed. I'm like, I was a cop saying that the rappers are all pussies.
Yeah, and then the nigga got shot. What? How many months later?
Right. No, yeah, definitely good point. But I mean, he did. I think the security was just making the point of like
they're not gonna come to this
odds
thing.
of
Yeah.
somebody coming here and shooting
I
up
was
this fucking
thinking that.
tattoo shop when you guys are in the back of the tattoo shop in a super busy fucking nice area of Chicago.
It was kind of
pretty low.
It was kind of crazy because I forget who was first on the interview list, but they were missing their time slot and it was getting up to like the next person's time slot. We're like, oh fuck, now we're fucked.
No,
if they
so
both show up at the same
I'm
time.
texting the other one being like, oh, maybe we should push it back an hour and a half, but in reality, he wasn't going to come
yeah,
anyway.
both of them didn't come
But that's
anyways.
just how it is when you try to like really go after interviews with people that are hard to get interviews for. Is you end up wasting time.
You gotta. You know?
Is that? I mean, is the best way just be like, I'll pull up on you, or is that invasive? Or
And did they really want you pulling
Pulling
up?
up,
To
yeah.
And are you really gonna take all this shit, or like, you know, what the fuck you gonna do?
I mean, in
One
Chicago,
camera.
it's easy. You got 2 clip-on mics or one mic to go like this, and fucking one camera, maybe a light if you're feeling fancy.
Okay, we totally directed this into fucking podcasting and interviewing when we was talking. Supposed to be about him
Sorry.
actually getting shot.
we talked
and him
a
got
little
out.
But we
bit
don't
about
know.
it, no?
We
Well,
don't
he
know
got
who
out the
shot him.
hospital.
We have no answers.
But
I
we
think
know, but we know he got out the hospital and that
is
he won't
good.
be able to get his voice back for 2 months.
Oh, so that's real?
Yeah, and then he got
Oh.
he got the stitches removed, but he won't be able to talk for 2
I mean,
months.
for a
Jeez.
rapper to end up with that scar right here, when this is like your whole career, is pretty crazy. Like they really somehow. And how the fuck did he survive that? Like, I feel like if I got
Maybe it
shot
got
anywhere
grazed.
around
Yeah,
here, then
yeah,
it
maybe it went this way, like, you know.
maybe. But dude, it's fucking top to
know.
bottom.
That's
ass
so scary.
scar, dude.
And
I saw
mean,
that, I
I'm
was like,
glad he's
bro.
getting his voice back because as a rapper to not get your fucking voice back.
What
is
if
like,
it was like the DOC? Do you guys even know about him from NWA and shit? He was like
What
the
happened to
whole
his-
West Coast era. Like he fucking, he got a crazy ass car accident, and now his voice is like he went from being like popping rapper, like when
Jeez.
Dre says like my
The
N-word
DOC.
DOC, no one
Yeah.
could do it better. He's
I thought
talking about him.
I thought he was talking about
I
himself.
think it's something
yeah, I
like
know, right? But then his fucking, he was never able to really rap again. You could go watch Vlad interview him, and his voice is like,
what if that
crazy.
happened to you? You could only podcast in that voice.
man, that'd be rough.
I mean, I feel like if you could still talk, you got to just do it. I
Yeah, but
almost
sometimes it's kind of hard to listen to
Dude,
someone's voice when it's
I went
too...
back today. I was listening to TK Kirkland get interviewed by Taxstone, and
Yeah.
holy shit, Taxstone! I forgot how reckless he was on that podcast. He's literally just saying, he's like, I don't go anywhere they search you because I always got my thing on me. Like, the cops weren't listening to this, or like apparently they were, maybe, but like, I just could not believe how hard Tax was snitching on himself about how he was rolling around. Because I always knew that he always was rolling around with a gun on him in New York, and
Yeah.
I always thought he was crazy. But he's really talking about it on this podcast.
Crazy.
I mean, he could use the same defense that like rappers and shit use and be like, oh, like, you know, it was just, I was just talking or whatever.
You tell the judge that. Oh yeah, well, our next we'd like to present the audio of Mr. Taxstone saying that he always has his gun on him everywhere he goes. Like,
Yeah, right.
You imagine the judge being like, "Nah, he's just podcasting." Like it's a stretch when you say that about
know.
rappers. When it's like,
Yeah.
well, in this exhibit we have YNW Melly saying that he will pull up and shoot at your mother. But then
We also have the
you
song
can
saying that he killed his best friend.
Well, you can make the argument of like, well, he's a rapper. You know, Johnny Cash said he shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. He didn't actually shoot a man in Reno. Blah blah
he
blah.
might have done that.
But like a podcast is pretty much just you talking about your life. Let's be
What if
real.
you could make it into like this was a theatrical podcast?
I've definitely over exaggerated some shit on this podcast just to make it sound a little beefier than the actual story.
I'm too paranoid to do that because I'm paranoid that if I tell the same story twice and I change some of
fuck
the
it up.
details significantly, that somebody's going to cut it up and call me out, and I'm just like going to be really embarrassed. So it's like, I know that just due to time and my lack of memory, that will probably end up happening, is that I'll like retell a story twice and it'll change. But I definitely don't want to like be like, so yeah, I fucked 3 girls, and then tell the story like a month later and be like, so then I fucked 7 girls. That'd be really embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a
you
little
know?
extra.
People would not be able to like parse the context of it being like fucking years apart or whatever.
No. Speaking of years apart, I was thinking like about this whole Lil Reese shit is like what the cop said was so true about them being in the same city for well, not even them necessarily, but just like those two, but just like the different gangs that has been beefing for so long. Like that video where he's like, I'm gonna kill you, JoJo. Like that shit was in like 2013. Like nigga, that's a long. Like they've been beefing since the niggas was in high school. Like, bro, what? Like I don't know. They've been beefing for a while.
I really should.
Who knows if it had anything to do with them? I don't know, but I'm just saying like
Oh my
Shit was
god.
old.
You know, people always say that like Vlad and academics and me are snitches or feds or whatever, but that would be a good idea. A YouTube channel that actually really is about snitching.
Like
Like if you were
someone
somebody who was
collecting
sort
the
of tapped
information.
in, like you really knew who was doing everything. Like there's obviously people that know exactly who shot at Reese, right? Or who shot
I don't
Reese.
know.
Well, there definitely are people on Earth who know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody started a YouTube channel that was like solely
down.
about actually snitching on people.
Bro, he not about that
Or
life.
take anonymous tips.
He not
I
about
wouldn't
that
be
life.
surprised if something like that happened. If people are so thirsty for clout that I would not be surprised if somebody did that.
He not about that life, man. Catch him in traffic.
Oh my god, the fact that that is going to be like his fucking. Because I like went to the gym the day after he got shot,
Yeah, you
and I
started
put
listening to
on Lil Reese, Spotify, most played tracks. It's like Traffic, and then Us, and I was just like listening to that song. I'm like, God, it's such a good song. We're going to be hearing so much of this song if he
If something happened
passes.
to him, yeah.
But then
That's so not. Yeah, that's
I was
so
like,
sucks.
I'm like,
It
it's
didn't
crazy
happen, though.
'cause
He's okay.
That
Yeah, I'm
song
glad he's okay.
specifically is like basically describing how he got popped.
Yeah. Luckily, he didn't die, and he
Yeah.
put out a song too.
Yeah.
Look at this song. I'm not gonna lie, wasn't that good to me personally. I've come to expect something a little more different from
I
Lil
thought his
Reese.
voice is fucked up.
Well, maybe yeah. You know
The
what?
song's
Maybe
old,
he made
obviously.
it
I listened
Maybe
to
that
the
was
song.
fake. Oh my god, I didn't even think about
The
that.
song might be
Damn
new
it,
to
Kim.
be
You
released.
just told
I
us. Why are we
know.
deaf?
Because
Wait,
you're
how
smart.
did you
I am
need it
smart.
explained to you? I saw
I'm
it, and I
stupid.
thought for 2 seconds, maybe it's a new song. And then I thought it's probably a song you already recorded. I played it. He wasn't talking about the situation. I said, okay, it was recorded.
It sounded like when I was listening to it, I wasn't really paying attention, so I thought that the nigga was saying something about nigga shot me. Da-da-da-da. I don't know, but you know who actually did that and who made a really good song about it?
Let me guess. Let me guess. YBN.
Nope, Cashbently. That's how I found him. Actually, he got shot.
Oh, yeah, you told me
This
about-
kid
Did
Cashbently
he
got
get
shot
shot?
on Instagram Live or stabbed something on Instagram Live, right? And he's like on the thing, like holding the shit.
What?
It's all bloody, and then the video goes off, right? And I was like, damn, that should look like that looked real, but it looked kind of fake. I don't know. And I saw a picture of him in the hospital the next day, and I was like, oh shit, that was real, or whatever, right? Then
This
the
is
next,
in the music video, or you watched
no,
his
no, no.
Instagram
This is
live?
this is way before the music video. It was like a clip of the
God.
of him being shot on Twitter. That's how I found it. So then maybe like a day or two after he got out the hospital, he like posted like a trailer snippet of this song, big ass fucking bandage thing on this thing. I ain't die yet, niggas thought I was dead. I'm like, yeah, but he's like singing it though. Like that shit's hard as fuck. And I'm like,
Christ.
yo, what?
I can't
And
believe
then
that's how you found your favorite
that's
artist.
how I found him. Yeah.
I feel like if I were talking about how great it was that he got shot in my rap song, that it would come off different than you talking about it.
Nah, because I'm not talking about him being shot was the great part. He made a fire ass song. It was like that's his my favorite song by this guy to this day.
I've never heard this person's song.
I'm gonna put you on game. He's fire as fuck. But shout out Cashbently.